Hello, enlightened souls. Today being the last day of the year, it's appropriate to join me to say, in one voice and in one consciousness, to sing the song, Great is Thy Faithfulness by Carrie Underwood. If you don't know the song, you can give gratitude to God that you are alive to witness the end of the year and all that God did for you in the year 2022. Welcome the new year with a smile, 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 and let it turn into laughter. Laughter expands, frowning contracts. In the year 2023, I say all is well. Say that to a friend or neighbor. If somebody asks you how you are doing, the new phrase is that all is well. Even in your unpleasant situation, just say all is well. Great peace, great joy fills and overshadows me. It is not always a joy, but an honor to serve my people, sons and daughters of Africa and humanity at large. You'll agree with me when I say this is the day or night that the Lord has made, depending on the country you are listening to me from. We have every reason to rejoice and be glad in it, especially today being the last day of the year. I continue to heal the world for negativity and all sorts. I radiate peace, love, and life to all. It is Saturday, December 31st, 2022, in my world in Ontario, Canada. My world is always full of joyous activities, unbroken progress, and great expectancy. I create my own realities, all of it, not some of it, all of it. I live my life from within to the without. I am in the world, but I'm not of the world at all. I work with my intuition. That is the still small voice of God only. I'm a lady of gratitude. Thus, let the whole world join me to say, thank you, Father. Thank you, infinite intelligence to the universe, for the end of 2022 and the beginning of 2023. My dearly beloved, let us imagine in our minds that we are friends sitting in a garden, perhaps the Garden of Eden, admiring God's beauty and nature. As God works through me to talk to you and the world on the topic, I love beauty. It ignites the light in me. You have your own self to blame if you don't take lessons from today's topic. I greatly encourage you to pay attention, to be open minded and receptive to the truth. So, the topic for today is have a spiritual understanding. Have a spiritual understanding. And when you have a spiritual understanding, you are able to put your unpleasant situation in the right perspective in the coming year. Have a spiritual understanding to put your unpleasant situation in its right perspective in the coming year, 2023. This is the topic for today. And the text is from John 16:33. I've told you these things that you may have, I've told you these things so that you may have peace in this world. You have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. First Corinthians 10:13 also says, there has no temptation taken you, but as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able to, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that he may be able to bear it. And John 4:24, what does it say? It says, God is spirit, and his worshippers must worship him in spirit and in truth. God is spirit. God is spirit. So whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, aware of it or not, you are a spiritual being. You are a spiritual being. You are a spiritual and internal being. God's spirit. That is why I'm saying have a spiritual understanding to put your unpleasant situation in its right perspective in the new year, in 2023. Brittle, brittle. What hit humanity terribly 2 years ago that many don't stop talking about it, but talks about it in the negativity up until now? The answer is COVID-19. The actual question I have for you is, what next after COVID-19 and its pandemic? What next? Have a spiritual understanding. That is all that I'll say to you. And the question I have for you is, are you living as if nothing happened, or you are finding out what COVID-19 meant or did to us? Why COVID-19? Why did it come into our lives? Have you done yourself that favor to ask yourself questions? Become aware of that great saying: a man or woman is said to be properly living when they begin to find out, when they begin to figure out things themselves. Don't just live, adding up to numbers, occupying space, being an energy sucker. Be useful to make a difference, but not to exist. Be useful. Be useful to make a difference, but not to exist. COVID-19 came in our lives for a positive change. It didn't come to hurt us at all. It didn't come to harm us or destroy us, even though it seems so. It came for us to learn. Thus, I always say, learn the lessons quickly. And the lesson is that all power is from within, but not without, therefore under your control. It becomes catastrophic when humanity fails to learn the lesson. And the lesson is a vital lesson. Again, learn the lessons quickly. And when you learn the lessons quickly and learn it very well, there's a blessing attached to it. If you fail to learn the lesson, whatever thing will come on you as an individual, but not collectively on every one of us this time. In this case, the individual is the cause, and all other things are the effect, simply because the individual failed or is failing to apply the truth himself or herself. We are in the era of choice. We are in the transformation era. It is not by chance, luck, or coincidence you are hearing this message. My duty is to expose you to the truth, but not to force you with the truth. Otherwise, I'm taking your dignity and rights away from you. You have a responsibility to work with the truth or not. But one thing I can assure you is that you are the product of your choices. You are the product of your thoughts. Have a spiritual understanding of life. It's through this understanding that you realize that COVID-19 didn't bring us doom or gloom, but brought a positive change. In actual fact, this is the most exciting time to be alive if one understands all that is happening in our world. I'll forever say, and I continue to say, nothing ever is, all is becoming. The challenges, hindrances, frustration, difficulties, and all unpleasant things you are going through are not there to harm, to hurt, or destroy you, even though it seems so. It is there for you to learn. Thus, I say, learn the lessons quickly and let the challenge you are going through bless you. Most people don't have the spiritual understanding and don't understand how God works. Therefore, these people agitate, they yell, they cry, they complain, and give outer conditions power, which outer condition has no power at all. External power is no power at all. When you develop the spiritual understanding, you be awakened to see God works through our hindrances, our disappointment, obstacles, pain, an unpleasant situation. Therefore, one doesn't need to fear anything, and that one doesn't have to give outer or external conditions power at all. Again, one gives outer conditions power by fearing, worrying, stressing, complaining, engaging in all sorts of negativity. Have a spiritual understanding that in whatever you are in, God does the work. Have a spiritual understanding that in whatever unpleasant situation you are in, God does the work and not you. God does the work and not you. God does the work through you even. So don't get in the way at all. God does the work through you. So don't get in the way. Use the situation to be a master of calmness and centeredness and allow the power of God to work through you. Never use your willpower or an analytical mind. Please read Proverbs 3:5-7. Again, God works through your challenges, frustration, hindrances, disappointment, and all sorts. And all unpleasant situations, God works through them. It is God that does the work, not you. So your particular limitation or unpleasant situation is of no account to God at all. This is how God works. And you either know this truth or you don't. You are aware of it or you don't. You don't believe in it or you don't. What are you going to do? God has every quality of a personality. God has every quality of a human being except limitation. God doesn't do things to you, but for you, so that the glory, His glory, God's glory will be seen in your life. And it's through challenges, it's through disappointments, when everybody has given up, that is when you see the hand of God. So God does the work and not you. And God works through you. So you need to be a master of calmness, a master of centeredness for God's power to flow, to work through you. Thus, have a spiritual understanding to thank God for the difficulties, because it could have been worse. It could have been worse. Calling for the things that are not as if they are. That is faith. The substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Please read John 16:33 again, 1 Corinthians 10:13, Matthew 11:28. It says, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I'll give you rest. Your light affliction is but for a moment." The verses are endless when it comes to comforting verses or verses of encouragement. So God works through our pain, our hindrances, our disappointment. But many don't know this truth. And there are so many verses in the Bible that speaks to it. I only gave 3. There are more. There are more. So when you have a spiritual understanding, you are able to put your situation in its right perspective. Many don't know this truth, so they can't put their situation in its right perspective. But in the year 2023, in the coming year, I want you to put your situation in its right perspective. Have a deeper meaning, have a deeper understanding of all things. Have that spiritual understanding that you are made in life to overcome every challenge, every hindrance or obstacle by using your mind. The joy is overcoming. Thus, in the middle of the storm, sing songs of praise to raise your consciousness to overcome the problem. Say, this is an opportunity for self-expression, and God knows what He has to do about my situation. Or the problem is here, and God is here too, and God wins. You know this to be true, that God cannot fail, and you will not fail too. and you are his son or daughter, and you cannot fail too. You know this to be true because the day or night hasn't disappointed any of us in our various countries. In our various countries, it's not the work of any government, of any politician, celebrity, rich person in the community, etc., etc. In the past, you didn't have the right mindset and attitude. That is why you failed big time. And your self talk wasn't good. That is why you failed. But now that you are developing yourself, you are working on yourself to have a spiritual understanding and to have the right mindset and attitude. There's no way you can fail. There's no way you can fail. God does not fail. The day or night has not failed anyone. Have the spiritual understanding that everything is a challenge. So God has given you a mind. So use your mind to solve it so it doesn't become a problem. Mind is the master and mind rules the world. Unfortunately, many in the world today don't know this truth. So they keep on blaming God. Sometimes I listen to people and I'm like, you blame God for what? You blame God for what? All that humanity goes through is self-inflicted. Poverty and all sorts of negativity is lack of spiritual understanding. I watched a movie and these individuals didn't know, even though they are people of God, they are they are they are, they are failed. Their Holy Ghost failed. They didn't even know how to take responsibility and accountability for their actions and behaviors, for anything. And they were blaming people. So the more they blamed people, the worse things got for them. But these people didn't have that spiritual understanding to put their unpleasant situation in the right perspective. So they kept on repeating and repeating what they didn't want. See, we are all energy in a larger field of energy. They don't know that. The energy kept on coming down and coming down and coming down, and they kept on experiencing negativity in all forms. It was sad and pathetic to watch. And in Africa, many who don't have this spiritual understanding, they will blame witches, wizards, evil spirits, and all sorts. Many have the audacity to even blame God. Can you imagine? And the more they do that, the law of karma is real. And the more they engage in that, the more they create for themselves what they don't want. Thought are things. What you focus on gets bigger or expands. When people don't have the spiritual understanding, they keep on blaming God, saying God doesn't love them, and so many negative things they say. These people are not putting their issues in the right perspective to solve them at all, but they are engaging in what is called fighting against circumstances or quarreling with the world. The truth of life is that thoughts are things. The more they focus on what they don't want, they create more of what they don't want. We are all energy in a larger field of energy. Have a spiritual understanding to know that God works through you. God works through you. So with this understanding, you either create light to create a heaven on earth, or darkness to create a private hell on earth. As there's no middle way. I see humanity want to mix the light and darkness. And I'm like, what are these people doing? What are these people saying? People want to mix the two together. And it doesn't work that way. It cannot work that way. Humanity wants to change the formula. And it cannot be changed. Light and darkness, it doesn't meet. It cannot change. What I mean by that is that many don't want to forgive. You hear people say, I've forgiven, but I haven't forgotten. But these people, they talk of life too. And I'm like, they go to church too. They do things of God too. And I'm like, why are you deceiving? Life comes with forgiveness, unconditional love, and all positive things you can think of. Please get it right. So when you mix or change the formula, the wind blows you at any time. You only do well when the wind is not blowing you. But when the wind decides to blow you, oh my God, it is serious. You become like a boat tossed on stormy water. So have a spiritual understanding of what life is and make your life intentional. Life is not complicated, hard, stressful, agitation, full of agitation, but in the individual who wants to discover himself to be in the right frame of mind to use the truth. Life is not complicated at all for that individual. And as I always emphasize, life was not meant to be a matter of survival, a matter of struggle, a matter of looting the system, manipulation, engaging in shoddy deals, bribery, and dishonest deals, but joyously abandoned, gleeful, fulfilling, beautiful, full of adventure. God is life. God is life in you. Because without the breath of God in you, you are not. You breathe in and out. Without this life in you, without the breath of God in you, you are not. So if you try to step out, it cannot simply happen. You are the microcosm, and God is the macrocosm. Life was not meant to be a struggle at all. Life was meant to be joyously abundant. Some people, they like dishonest deals too much. They like bribery. They love bribery and corruption. In that way, they are going against the tide instead of flowing with the tide. And there are serious consequences for that. They are serious. Understand how the world is, how the world runs, and flow accordingly. But if you go against it, the law of karma is real. You face the consequences. In this case, it's not God that is punishing you. You are punishing yourself because you don't want to use the truth. You don't want to take accountability and responsibility for your own actions and behaviors. Whatever you are going through now is God seeking expression through you. God works through our pain, our hindrances, our problems. Please understand it well. Out of pain, the purpose is found. If the pain is just wrapped in workload, and it's your responsibility to unwrap this workload to let it bless you. Opportunity is missed by most people because it's dressed in overalls and it looks like work. Thomas Edison. So if in the midst of COVID you've gone through a lot of pain, a lot of punishment, a lot of so many things, you've gone through a lot of difficulties, please note that the greater the pain, the greater the accomplishment. You have nothing to lose. You've not lost anything. You just have to have a spiritual understanding. Not understanding this, you create a huge vacuum of void in your heart that cannot be replaced. The soul is bigger than the personality. The whole curriculum of the third dimension is to learn lessons of love and life. Thus, use your mind to solve every problem. Use your mind to solve every problem that comes your way so that it doesn't become a problem. To many who don't have this spiritual understanding, they think COVID-19 brought us gloom and doom. To some people, the world is full of obstacles. To some people, the economy or the world is coming to an end. To some people, the world has nothing good to offer. anymore because of COVID 19. Many people say there's no way out of their problems or difficulties. To them, the way ahead is to them the way ahead is so full of difficulties, hardship, struggles, and uncertainties. To them, life is not worth living anymore, and they believe they would have been better off if they were not even born at all. Others believe life hasn't been fair, and it would have been better for them if they were not even born. Can you imagine? Such an attitude, a mindset, a way of thinking is all as a result of spiritual blindness. Spiritual blindness. We begin to think with clarity and embrace the world with joy and gladness the day we discover the amazing power within us to have an understanding, to put issues in its right perspective. That is all that COVID 19 came to offer us. You don't have to exist, you have to live to make a difference. And you have to have a spiritual understanding to live a purpose driven life. John 4:24. God is spirit, and his worshippers must worship him in spirit and in truth. You are created in the image and likeness of God. You are spiritual and internal being, whether you believe it or not, accept it or not, aware of it or not. You were not shortchanged in life at all. You are a complete being, born with all the necessary attributes or qualities to make it in life. God is spirit, and spirit is everywhere, not living in the skies only, but it's everywhere. Remember the three O's. God is omnipotent, all powerful, omniscient, all knowing, omnipresent. He's present everywhere. He's present everywhere. Despite your country, in the developed world or in the developed world, in the developing world, God sees you. God sees you. That is why we say God is spirit. But if you say God is a noble human being with short tie and long beard that lives in the sky, you have limited God, because God is everywhere. That makes him spirit. So my advice to you is that above all else, see God as spirit and change your concept of God. Change your concept you hold about God, and it will make a huge difference in your life. That's it. Change the concept you hold about God, and it will make a huge difference in your life. It is through this understanding of life that you be who you were born to be, created to be, intended to be, meant to be, and take your rightful place in the world and in the universe. Have a mathematical understanding that 2 plus 2 is 4. No matter which country you are in, 2 plus 2 is 4. It's a principle. Everyone knows that 2 plus 2 is 4. So if you get a different number, not 4, the diligent student system and works the mathematical principle to get the same answer. I'm talking to you in parables here. The diligent student doesn't argue at all, but works out the same mathematical principle to get the answer for 2. I'm talking about the most powerful force in the universe. Who argues with universal laws and principles? No one. No one. It's only the ignorant. So 2 plus 2 is 4. We all know that the day or night has never failed anyone in their country. So people who blame God for their troubles, I don't know what they talk about. God is Godward, upward, forward, and onward. My mentor, Emmett Fox, he taught me that God, good, can only cause good things. The same fountain cannot cause both sweet and bitter water. So to have a spiritual understanding, to know how God works, to put your unpleasant situation in its right perspective. God changes not. God is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. Everybody wants power, but the real power is from within. And that is all COVID 19 came to teach us. You lose power when you threaten your fellow neighbor, when you condemn, when you judge, etc. Look around you and you realize only a few people are interested in the world within. A lot of people are interested in the world without. However, the truth of life is that it's the world within that creates the world without. Every enlightened person will not fail to tell you that everything is an inside job. The great saying, as within, so without. As in heaven, so on earth. As above, so below. It's indeed true. Go within yourself for all your answers to all your problems, and you discover that the solution lies in the problem. Therefore, if you are part of the problem, be part of the solutions too. We have to understand that the power is not in government, politicians, leaders, celebrities, or known person in the community, even though it seems so. All you owe these people is love, respect, and blessings. Get up every morning, radiate peace and light and blessings unto them, because your power is not in them. Your power is in the power within, it's in God. So don't give your power away to them cheaply, easily, and foolishly. And you give your power away easily to them, you give your power away cheaply and foolishly to them by insulting and castigating them. Let them be, allow them to be. You are in life to meet all sorts of challenges and overcome them. So everything in your life is a challenge. Use your mind to solve it so that it doesn't become a problem. You are alive to meet all sorts of challenges and overcome them. The joy is overcoming. So use your mind to solve all your challenges so it doesn't become a problem. That's all. Embrace your challenges and ask the right questions, such as, Father, what has this situation got to teach me? Or what do you want me to learn from this situation? We are all different, but going through pain in different dynamics, shapes, and forms. But there's only one way, that is the truth. And the Bible says the same thing. You shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. You shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So have the spiritual understanding to see the journey of life is not about comparison at all. The moment you begin to compare yourself to others, you might think others are more blessed than you are. Thus, you find it difficult to even give gratitude. Meanwhile, the songwriter says, count your blessings and see what God has done, especially in this year, 2022. COVID 19 is all built from within. It's to teach us that all power is from within, but not from without. Therefore, under your control. Have a spiritual understanding. The life is built from within. Understand how things are done and how things work, and come in alignment, in sync, in tune to set yourself free. COVID 19 didn't bring us gloom or doom as some people ignorantly think. In fact, this is the most exciting time to be alive if one understands all that is going on. In 2023, have a spiritual understanding that and live and organize your life from within to the without. And this is the deeper meaning of I'm in the world, but I'm not of the world at all. It's through this spiritual understanding you can manifest all that you want from the universe and create a heaven on earth and become independently wealthy. The book of Proverbs admonishes us that in all our getting, let us get understanding. Let us have a spiritual understanding to put our unpleasant situation in its right perspective. I have great faith in you. I have great faith in you. I have great faith in you that you use this message for a transformed life. This is Eagle Helen and Papa Mensah. I'm a child of God, a citizen of the universe, a treasured daughter of God on an important earthly mission, a way towards my people, sons and daughters of Africa and humanity at large. I give love to humanity and it comes back to me not only in billion folds, but in trillion folds. I wish you all that I wish for myself, and all the blessings in the universe, such as joy in your soul, perfect peace that passes all understanding, good health, abundance, and much more. God bless you immensely. God bless you immensely, and thank you kindly. Thank you kindly.